December 26th. I'm Scott.
And I'm Rim.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight we talk about Mario Party.
Let's do this.
It's 10 o'clock on Tuesday, and Rim says, all right, let's do high energy. All right, I'm like, fuck you.
See, the thing is, I can do high energy no matter how fucking tired I am, and I'm really fucking tired right now.
No, you can't. You fucking...
Yeah, I can.
Nah.
I did
You
it.
can't do 10 high energies.
I think I pulled off quite a bit of high energy despite the late night, drunken, tired stupor that I was in at Otakon.
Oh, I guess, yeah, but Otakon's different. It's like, in Otakon, you have a second wind, you know, when you're doing something
Yeah,
like that.
and I'd already had my first, second, and fifth wins by that point.
Yeah, but when we're at home, we don't even use one win. We don't even, nowhere near 10 wins.
Well, we would have, but instead we bought some, we bought all the stuff for the annual Front Row Crew New Year's Bash extravaganza, which, for various reasons, we have ended up in charge of for the last many years.
That's fine. Just have everyone else do everything else. And
Well, we let someone else do it once, way back when we were at RIT.
Well, that was before we did it. It was their thing, and they screwed it up, so then we took it.
Yeah, well, before that, we always, New Year's was always, okay and fun. It wasn't anything great. And then that New Year's was the lamest New Year's party ever. So lame that it forced us to take upon the mantle of requiring everyone to do something awesome every year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not only was that New Year's so lame, but we're probably going to do a show about New Year's is on Thursday now, so I can tell the story.
All right. Anyway, let's go with the planned opening bit.
Oh, but you can't let on that we planned the opening bit. It's supposed to be like Fast Karate, where it's kind of this organic... We're talking about something. It's like you're a little voyeur into our...
Here's a secret. Fast Karate plans quite a bit.
Here's a secret. We plan everything.
Okay, so when I was a kid, you might not know this game, Echo the Dolphin. It's a Sega Genesis game.
It was an extremely hyped game that lived up to a lot of the hype.
I don't know. I don't remember there being too much hype about it.
I saw ads about it every goddamn day.
All right, whatever. I never bought the game, but I played it at the dentist's office. And when I played it at the dentist's office on his, multi-cartridge Sega Genesis, I could never get it. Echo starts in this first little pond, and all you can really do is talk to these other dolphins and swim around. And I was never able to escape this beginning pond. I was always stuck in it.
Now, I'll note that if you haven't played this game, it's not like Mario 1 where, say, I can't get past the first level. Those Goombas just get me. This is like if you can't get past... not even the first Goomba, but if you can't start walking right.
Yeah, it's like you're in a pond and there's no way out. There's obviously this path to the right, but it's got these two bricks in the way. And it's like, well, there's these two bricks in the way. How am I supposed to get out of here? And I was never, as a kid, playing it in the dentist's office, waiting to go get my teeth cleaned, ever able to figure out what the hell to do to escape this pond. Well, today... don't ask why, but we bought Mario 1 for $5 on the Virtual Console.
We could answer why, but not today.
And while we were doing that, I bought freaking Echo the Dolphin. Why not piss away more money on games I could emulate for free? Whatever. I know it's stupid, but who fucking cares?
See, that's how Nintendo wins. Because the normal people buy stuff on the Virtual Console anyway, because they don't know better. We know better, and it's painful when we do it, but we do it anyway.
We're just masochists over here. Video game masochists. But I bought Echo the Dolphin, and I played it, and I escaped the first pond. It was amazing. I was like, oh, shit, I escaped the first pond.
He did it.
It took me 24 years.
He did it
I escaped
immediately.
the first pond.
I mean, it's not like
Well, I guess it
tried.
didn't take me 24 years because I'm older than Echo the Dolphin, but you get the point.
Seriously, you sat down and with no effort escaped the first pond. It was like,
And
time to
then
escape.
I proceeded to the right and started exploring
Oh,
because all of a sudden I'm exploring all over the place, and I'm finding all this good stuff. And eventually I find this big blue gem. It's huge. It's bigger than me. And I'm like, oh, shit, that's got to be something good. So I start poking it, trying to figure out what the hell to do to make it, do its gemmy thing. And I got stuck under the gem and I couldn't move. I was stuck under the gem and I couldn't move.
Now, I'm sitting there, and Scott's dolphin is upright, sitting there with his nose stuck in the ground, and he keeps hitting buttons and screaming. And for a minute, I'm
I wasn't screaming.
No, the dolphin was screaming.
Oh, the dolphin, every time I push the squeak button, the dolphin goes,
Kind of like a thought bird.
or like a dolphin.
Yeah, like a dolphin bird
Right.
thought. So I'm watching him, I'm thinking...
I guess they're evolutionarily related.
I'm thinking, why doesn't Scott move? Why is he just sitting there? It's obvious what you have to do, move. And then before I can say anything, and he can say anything, I think, uh-oh, did the game glitch? Is he stuck? And then Scott says, I think I'm stuck.
The dolphin was most definitely stuck at the bottom of the ocean. So tomorrow, for the second time, well, I guess maybe not tomorrow.
No, you've got to wait 10 years, come back to it.
Whenever the next time I decide to play my $8 Echo the Dolphin, I will have to, and I escaped that first pond for the second time in my life. I will have to avoid getting stuck somehow. I don't know how, but I'll try.
Right. So instead of a news today, I'm going to do something kind of crazy, something we haven't done in a long time.
You're not doing a news.
Something for which we don't even have music because we do it so infrequently. I got a geek back.
Oh shit. That's no good.
No. All right, this is from Maximilian, and a couple weeks ago we were talking about Germany and
when did he send us this email?
Oh God, December 16th.
Okay, what's today?
December something far later.
10 days ago.
Not that bad.
All right.
But he sent the feedback pretty much right after the episode where we talked about the batshit crazy legislation that some people in Germany are trying to put forward to criminalize violent video games.
All right. They want to just like put FPS designers in jail or whatever.
Something crazy.
Something crazy.
Well, knowing a bit about Germany, I mean, being in Germany, at least, I assume he's in Germany. And I assume he's probably one of our listeners, and I just don't know his screen name because I'm lazy and I don't pay attention anymore.
Obviously, he listens to the show.
Yeah, obviously.
I think that's got to be... if he didn't listen to the show, we better call Randy because he's going to win a prize.
Well, the thing is, we have a not an insignificant number of German listeners, and more than one of them is in the forums. So if I see another person who talks about Germany, I'm not sure which person it is or if it's a new person entirely.
Whatever.
But anyway, he has some really good insight into this whole thing because we're not really experts on Germany in any... I know a lot about Germany back when Rome was around, but not so much about modern Germany.
I know about as much about Germany as I know about most major countries that aren't my own country and not Japan. And I guess I know more about Israel than about Germany, but that's about it.
Yeah, so I'll read this. I may or may not paraphrase. We'll see how it goes. It's kind of long, but I think it stands on its own, and it'll add some, I guess, clarification to what we had said about Germany. Hi, Rim and Scott. I thought I should write something about the whole thing with the game ratings in Germany. I just wrote all this for a different site and thought you might want to read it. First of all, we're not Nazis, winky face. Second, this whole discussion started in like 2003, so it's actually old news. Germany is split into 16 states, only 2 of which want to have this law that you're not allowed to play or develop violent games in Germany.
All right, stop right there. Why don't those 2 states just become like Utah and the rest of Germany can be all cool?
You know, Utah is kind of shitty, and I wish it wasn't that way. So, I don't know. I don't know how Germany works.
But I'm glad that Utah is Utah, and Utah doesn't spread its stuff
no,
to the whole
because if Utah
rest of the
spread
country.
out, there'd be like one of them, well, maybe like 20 of them in every state, and then they wouldn't get anything they wanted.
No. I mean, I'm glad Utah only affects Utah, and it doesn't affect anyone else.
But if they were spread out, not only would there not be a Utah...
But yeah, spread out as in their power was more...
I agree with you, but if we spread them out, their power would be nothing.
We have to contain them to where they can't affect other people.
We've got to gerrymander them.
Yes. Right.
Anyway, Germany, blah, blah, blah. This will never go through. Never. I'm not sure because I think that they are all the same political party, and I guess that the other parties will just say no to get them pissed off. So, German political stuff. That and the board game Die Macher is all I know about German government.
Yeah.
The rating system is pretty harsh. Red Steel is an 18+, Call of Duty 18+, Star Wars Battlefront 16+, etc. You see, German politicians aren't scared of us being Nazis again. Since Germany is overprotective, this may make a little more sense. Some guy shoots 20 people in a school in 2003. German politicians say to themselves, what was so special about him? Let's see. He hears music, know that. He reads books, know that. Oh, what's this Doom 2 and Counter-Strike? First, everyone says it was because of the games, but then they found out that he didn't pass the final school exam for the second time. I guess that's what caused it. And they forgot all about that. Now, I think 1 month ago, this guy goes to school, hurts 14 people. No one even died, and he killed himself. And everyone says, all caps, computer games. Oh, noes. I'll bet now no one knows anything about that anymore. It got brought up in the news like twice. Most Germans understand that the main problem, isn't video games. It's, quote, where'd he get that rifle, unquote.
Yeah, isn't it a lot harder to get guns in Germany than it is here?
Yeah, I guess
I
kind of
imagine
like
they have a
Britain.
lot stricter gun control than we do.
I believe so.
I don't think they have a Second Amendment.
So I guess it's a lot like America. Germany has its Jack Thompsons who make a big ruckus, or like the people in America are like, yeah, bring back the draft. And then the news reports they're trying to bring back the draft. But the actual reality is one guy's trying to bring back the draft.
And he wasn't even trying to bring it back. Well, like, seriously, he was trying to bring it back to make a point.
Yeah.
Ironically.
So I guess in this case, Germany's not as crazy as the world thought they were. It's just that because this thing was so crazy, like all the gamers who read this probably thought of Germany what the rest of the world thinks about the U.S. when they read about Jack Thompson.
I think this is a little worse than Jack Thompson, though.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway.
You know what it tells me? Jack Thompson, he should move to Germany because he'll find some friends there. Because he ain't finding any here.
Well, in at least 2 states.
There was a funny thing with Jack Thompson on, like, the 60 Minutes or some show. I don't even know. And they were just totally, the guy was totally laughing at him.
It's not hard to laugh at Jack
It's
Thompson.
not.
But I can't talk about Jack Thompson because he hasn't done anything newsworthy in a while.
He's just been his usual crazy self.
Yeah, he hasn't done. I mean, at this point, he would have to like murder a baby in order for me to talk about him again.
I don't think that's going to happen.
We'll see.
All right, so I got some news here. Quite often I do stories about video game advertising because it's becoming more and more of a problem.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't play PC games anymore, not through lack of desire, just through lack of new games.
No, there's advertising in non-PC games at some point.
Well, Monkey Ball.
Yeah, right. No, are there Dole ads still in Monkey Ball? I didn't see them in the one we have.
I didn't look. There weren't so many bananas in the mini game, so I didn't notice.
Yeah. Anyway, someone did a study. Who did the study? Bunnyfoot. A behavioral research agency called Bunnyfoot did a study.
That's a pretty awesome name for a behavioral research institute.
Yeah, I wonder if this is BS or not, but maybe I should just not do this story. No,
right.
I'll do it anyway. But basically, they did a study with some video games. They had 120 people playing who were age 18 or older, and they've had them play sports games such as Gran Turismo 3, NBA Live, and Project Gotham Racing.
Wait. Sports games such as Gran Turismo 3. That's not much of a sport. It's driving in circles.
Yeah, well, whatever.
I was hoping for a NASCAR argument or something. Never mind.
I get NASCAR is a sport in, I mean, it is. It's not the greatest, but it's a sport. Anyway, they had people play these video games. And according to them, recall and recognition of in-game ads was low across the board. NBA Live and some wrestling game came out on top, and Project Gotham Racing 3 had no consumer engagement at all.
Wow.
So I think that's obvious is that in a racing game where the ads are flying by you, you're really not going to notice them at all. But in a game like, what are the other ones? Are pro wrestling, which isn't a sport, and basketball, you're pretty much looking at the same thing the whole time. So the ad is just constantly there. That's definitely going to have more of an effect, but it was still low across the board. No one pays attention to in-game ads even when they're there.
See, here's my worry. Most people don't pay attention to TV ads either. Other than internet ads where you can actually like count how many people click on them and all that, as dubious as those metrics may be, I have a feeling that in the chain, the people who do the studies or understand how ineffective ads are not the people buying the ads, and I don't think that studies like this, no matter how many are done, would have any effect on the number of ads in video games.
No, I don't think so either. See, here's the problem, right? Is you have the advertising industry itself, which while they do things we don't like, they're good people working in that industry, and if we stop buying ads, people are out of jobs. Oh well. 2, you've got a lot of things that we do like that can only exist because of advertising. Without advertising, they wouldn't exist because they have no way to make money. They would either have to just do it for free or not do it. And there's really no way for them to make money, at least no currently existing business model.
Like Slashdot?
Yeah, exactly. 3, if people don't pay attention to ads and they don't like ads, but some people seem to think ads work. If someone ever puts 2 and 2 together, this whole shithouse is going to go up in flames.
I mean, the nerds all figured it out, and we just use ad block.
I know, but Someday, some people who buy ads from ad agencies are going to start to realize, hey, our ads don't do shit. Let's stop buying them. Then the ad agency is going to go, oh shit, we're out of customers. There's going to be no ads. Then the people who do things supported by selling advertising space, they're going to be into shit.
Like network TV.
All at once are going to have no network television. All the advertisers are going to be out of jobs.
Well, look now, it's already
and all
started.
the people who make products and services are going to save a lot of money.
And network TV, as soon as things like TiVo appeared, suddenly people started skipping ads. And the executives in the TV industry got really nervous real quick. And are doing everything they can to make sure that time shifting is either illegal or limited or coming up with any way to force you to watch those ads.
I mean, I go to the movie theater and they've got the freaking ads lined up at the front.
You know what bothers me more than that? When I go to the movie theater and the ads are playing and I continue to talk because the ads are playing and not the actual movie. And I get shushed by someone around me.
Yeah.
What?
I've never been shushed.
I've been
talking during
shushed.
ads.
I've been shushed by making noise during the Coca-Cola ad that comes before every...
If someone shushed me during the ads, I would start yelling. I'd be like, it's a freaking ad. What's wrong with you?
My altercation went along those lines, and it was responded to with a louder shush and a look of exasperation.
I would have done it again to see how far that exasperation would go.
It was a big fat lady. I don't think she was going to do much. She couldn't catch me.
I'd get her as indignant as possible so she would get kicked out of the theater.
No, I didn't really want to bother with that.
It's all, that would be more entertaining than the movie. What movie is there that'd be more entertaining than Indignant Fat Lady?
I don't know.
I'd go to the theater and sit through ads just to see Indignant Fat Lady.
Why don't we just make a movie?
Indignant Fat Lady?
Why don't we? Why don't we just make a movie? Like, you know, Jackass and Borat and all those movies. Mm-hmm. But all we do is go around, find the type of person who's conducive to being made indignant, make them indignant the way John Cleese used to irritate people.
Sounds good.
And never give them the release. Never push them over the edge to where they get so indignant that they turn to anger and punch.
All right, everyone, start sending us money, and we will go buy a camera and make this movie.
Or film yourselves making people indignant.
Well, no, because that requires many cameras.
No, and then
none of which we own.
And then just put them on YouTube, and then we can watch them, and we can skip that whole movie thing.
Well, no, see, I'm hoping to actually, because I know that's not actually going to happen. We're just shit talkers. I want to get, a camera here. Because that's the only electronic gadget we don't have.
All right, yeah, send us money, lots of money.
Send us cameras.
And go to Dig and dig us, and then give us money.
Yeah, right. Give us money for nothing.
Things of the day.
Oh, man, I got a nice backlog of things of the day here for you people.
All right, so pop one out of the queue or push one out of the depending on what you're using.
Yeah.
Got a stack or a queue?
This here is a pretty good article that came up today, and it was around the nets. And I didn't read it at all, actually, but I know that it's going to be interesting. The title of the article is The History of Computer Role-Playing Games Part 1, The Early Years, 1980 through 1983. It starts out by talking about tabletop games and how they took those systems and ported them into the computer. And then, it starts off with, mainframe games. And, let's see, in 1983, this article ends with games like Dungeons of Daggerath, Tunnels of Doom.
Wow. You know what? These games much like the
Telengard.
The Atari role-playing adventure games that we picked up.
These actually look more playable than those because you actually have the controls of a computer. They talk about Ultima 1 in here.
Yeah, but Ultima 1 was not a good game.
No, none of these are really good games. Actually, hey, this one looks pretty good. Temple of Apshai. That looks kind of fun.
Even a lot of the later games, like the Gold Box D&D games and all that, and even a lot of the later Ultimas, as much nostalgia and joy as I gained and have from these games, they're a bit shit.
All these games are pretty bad, but back in their day, they were it, and it was a lot easier than, to play. If you were a loser sitting at home and you had a computer, it was a lot easier to play these games than to find some friends for some real D&D action.
True.
Yeah.
I guess we're lucky that, we grew up in the era of online gaming and MMOs.
Yeah, some of these are better than MMOs, I gotta say.
Depends on the MMO.
But either way, if you are, someone who is a fan of role-playing games of any sort, and especially the video role-playing games, those all came from somewhere. You know, the Japanese didn't invent them. You know, it's like most things in Japan. We invented it, they took it, made it better, and sold it back to us.
Yeah, like that whole samurai thing or that language.
Well, I mean, more like their,
I know.
You know, the car, the anime, the manga, yeah, all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All the stuff that we actually like. But, yeah, so the role-playing game is yet another thing like that, and here you can read the history, because I'm pretty sure that most of our listeners, you know, I mean, we got some old listeners who are playing these games, but most of you probably weren't playing computer RPGs when I was 0 years old. So this article will enlighten you to many things, enlighten me to many things, and I'm about to read it. So have at it.
Out loud? You gonna read the whole thing for us?
No, it's fucking long, and it's
Okay.
only part 1. God damn.
Okay, because I'm definitely not reading my thing, which is an entire Wikipedia entry.
You're going to use a Wikipedia entry for your thing of the day.
I am, because actually the story was dug up, and I was just going to use that, because whatever, it was dug up. But it got dug up, and then it got wanged.
Okay.
Or dugged, or whatever you want to call it. Penny arcaded, slash dotted. But I know that, I mean, most people in continental Europe and Britain know about this. And I know a lot of Americans do, but I also know that a lot of Americans don't. And that saddens me. You see, during World War I, which was probably the most pointless of all the wars of the modern era, probably one of the most pointless wars ever, with the possible exception of the Crimean War, which, as far as I can tell, served no purpose other than to add a chapter to my history book. Oh, and to give me the charge of the Light Brigade. But the Christmas truce, World War I, horrible war. Basically, they were just sending people into no man's land to die against machine guns. And the primary battle strategy was to send more guys than the other guy. And gas warfare. And it was, you know, the modern industrialized way of civil war. And just, it was a horrible thing. No one argues that it was not a horrible thing. But it was also one of the last wars where something like this could happen, let alone did happen. You see, in the December of 1914, along the front between Germany and France, the troops basically stopped fighting and in many places celebrated Christmas together and even in some points snuck to each other's trenches or into no man's land and had small parties and exchanged gifts.
What about the landmines in the way?
Landmines? There weren't so many landmines.
Okay.
No man's land was no man's land mostly because of the machine guns.
I know mostly because of the machine guns, but I figured if you walked there, it was no good.
Well, I mean, the thing is, these troops, there started to be this wave of people who just said, we're not going to fight anymore. And it got pretty bad as far as the military commanders were concerned. And actually, it didn't really happen in any year or any war since then because the commanders, after seeing what happened, did everything in their power to make sure that that sort of thing could never happen again. Mm-hmm. But I guess at least for this one moment in one of the bloodiest wars in the history of the world, the people fighting realized that it was all just bullshit, and at least until they were forced to start shooting at each other again, in a few areas they stopped. And if you don't know anything about this, I highly suggest you read the Wikipedia article, provided it doesn't become vandalized in the next 7 seconds.
Great. Yeah, it's kind of a change, though, because you think, oh, that happened in World War I, right? Well,
that was almost 100 years ago.
I know. But in the Revolutionary War, which was 200 years ago, you had George Washington attacking people on Christmas.
Well, yeah, but not only that. Well, I mean, Americans were some of the first terrorists, if you come right down to it. But think of this: during the American Civil War, the battles were so regular and pitched that many battles had tourists and civilians having picnics in the nearby fields watching.
Yeah.
Think about that. That doesn't happen anymore. That can't happen.
Well, before they had football, war was the only thing on the telly.
I mean, I'm not saying that we should go back to the time when war was noble, or, well, noble in the stupid, ironic, not actually noble sense.
Yeah.
But, I don't know,
in some ways, war used to be more brutal, but in some ways, it used to be more civil.
Yeah.
Gasp. Only if we could get rid of it entirely.
Oh no, a complex view of history that cannot be expressed in short sound bites.
Gasp.
Yeah, just read about this. This is something interesting that really says a lot about no matter how shitty people are, there are still good people even in the worst situations.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, 2 ugly, fat, Nazis having a fist fight naked
Two
in the
indignant
streets.
fat ladies. One of them's talking during the ads, and the other one doesn't like it.
Yeah, there's no good there.
Nah.
Wow. There was more good in No Man's Land in World War I on December 24th, 1914 than there was in a movie theater I was at once.
Yeah. Oh, wow. We're just gasping all over the place today.
Yeah. We got some gasping stories for another day today, too.
we do.
Yeah, so what were we going to talk about?
I forget. Mario Party?
Mario Party. It's me, your Mario.
All right, I think we're mostly going to talk about Mario Parties 4 and 5 because those are the ones we have played the most.
I think we're going to talk mostly about the idea of Mario Party and the pros and cons of that.
I think that's a good way to start. Okay, so what is Mario Party? Well, it started a long time ago, and in the Nintendo 64, they came out with a game called Mario Party. Now, by the name of it, you can guess the point of Mario Party was so that you and 3 of your friends could have a party, and Mario would help you out. And
Now, in gaming terms, it was basically just an American-style board game.
yeah, well, I mean, the classic American board game is Candyland or Uncle Wiggily, which is roll the dice, move the pawn, roll the dice, move the pawn, and then maybe the spot will say move back 2 or move forward 4, and eventually whoever gets to the end first wins. That's Candyland. Mario Party sort of puts a twist on that. The first thing they do is they make the track a circle, and it has different branching paths, and there are different maps that you can play on in case you like one better than the other. But all you really do is roll the dice, and Mario walks that many spaces, and then Luigi rolls the dice, and he moves that many spaces. And the thing is, the track is a circle. You don't end anywhere. You're just going around and around and around. And as you go around, you're trying to get stars. And there's a number of turns. So you can play a 10-turn game, or you can play a 50-turn game, or a 25-turn game. And after however many turns, let's say you pick 10 turns, so everyone takes 10 turns. At the end of the 10th turn, whoever has the most stars wins. And that's Mario Party.
Now, in terms of actual game mechanics and the way the game worked, it was very simple and generally consisted of mini games and random movement and possibly very light tactical decisions.
Yeah, I mean, your tactical decisions are pretty much when do I use the item, which item do I use, who do I use it on, should I go left or should I go right?
And the answer is always, which way is the star?
Yes, it is always, I go the way to the star.
Or I avoid the star on purpose.
Yep.
Now, talking about the gameplay isn't really the spirit of Mario Party, because gameplay by itself, these games are pretty piss poor.
Yeah, I mean, the main problem with Mario Party is that it could be very quick, but it ends up being very slow. You spend a lot of time watching animations and watching characters walk around the board slowly.
All unskippable.
I mean, yeah, most of it is completely unskippable and very slow. I mean, if you were playing Candyland, you could do it a lot faster because you'd just be like, you wouldn't go 1, 2, 3, 4. You would just be like 6, 10. You move them 10 spaces forward immediately. You don't have this waiting business. It gets pretty annoying because Mario Party is an otherwise fun game, but you end up spending a lot of time playing it, like way too long, and you lose interest.
Yep. Now, the thing is, the reason that these games are noteworthy at all, aside from the fact that the mini games from these eventually spawned such amazing games as WarioWare and the like, but that playing the game straight up is not fun at all. In fact, it's stupid. In fact, if you played this game, just you against the computer, I submit that you have no life.
I did it only to unlock the maps for multiplayer.
Well, that is understandable. Slightly detestable, but understandable.
It was a detestable experience. I did it while mostly reading a book and pushing A a lot. And I did also build my minigame skills, so it did have a benefit.
Yes, but the game itself, like I said, is pretty crap. But the reason that these games are so iconic, and the fact that, not just in our Front Row Crew group, but in a lot of social groups, particularly in colleges and among kids, these games take on a dimension unto themselves, because while the game itself is shit, the risk-reward ratio of the game is such that playing it with 3 other adults or people of equal intelligence to you and equal gaming skill to you, with the requisite amount of trash talking and getting more into it than an intelligent person should, makes for one hell of a time.
I mean, imagine if, pretty much anything in the world can be awesome if you get into it. I mean...
Yeah, Candyland. If you get a bunch of people and you sit around, some of you drinking, some of you not, really fucking getting into Candyland and yelling and screaming and trash talking, you can make that game at least 3 times more enjoyable than it is.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about NASCAR, right? NASCAR is pretty boring. But if you really, make yourself a fan of a car or a driver, and you really want them to win, and you start paying attention to all the crazy shit, the details and everything, and you really pay attention and you like paying attention to it, and you get excited about it, and you have someone next to you who's also excited about it, that it sort of feeds off, and all of a sudden you're a NASCAR fan.
Yep. And I talked about the risk-reward thing, because one of the things that many Mario parties did very well, and the ratios changed a little bit is in newer games, but the goal of the game is to get stars. And in the end, pretty much whoever has the most stars wins. Now, how many stars will you get in an average game of Mario Party?
It varies somewhat wildly. But it depends on how many turns are in the game.
Yeah.
It's like a 10-turn game. Someone gets 3 stars, they're doing real well.
Yeah.
In a 50-turn game, you're going to need like 10 stars.
But think about that. So few stars are available. It's like hockey. I mean, in basketball, someone makes a basket, you don't even blink because you expect them to. You blink when they don't make a basket.
Yep.
But, at least men's basketball. I was got a Futurama joke, but never mind. Just skipping past all that.
Good fundamentals.
But in hockey, if someone scores a goal, especially in some of the older days when the rules were a little different, that was a huge fucking deal. You get up and yell and scream, and it's the man of the year, moment of the century.
Yep.
Mario Party
is the same way. You get a star. It's like, fuck yeah, I got a star, yeah!
And if you get a star, as opposed to a star, which is basically a black star that takes a star away, that's like if you're playing Monopoly, and then someone
the star is not present in every version.
Oh, no, it's not.
No.
But that's like if you're playing Monopoly and then someone just gets a card and takes away Boardwalk and Park Place from you.
Yeah, no. Yeah. There is the thing that really makes Mario Party different from just walking around the board is, of course, the mini games and the items. That's pretty much what it comes down to is mini games and items. That's why the game doesn't suck and it's fun. The mini games. Let's say me and Rim are the only people playing, right? I go, I roll the dice, I move, I land on a spot. And sometimes a spot does something random, sometimes it doesn't, but it's usually not a big deal. Rim rolls the dice, he moves. Then we play a mini game. Whoever wins the mini game gets a lot of points and coins and all sorts of good stuff. And whoever loses the mini game gets dick. And then every turn, you all play a mini game. Now, at the end of the game, it depends on which version of Mario Party you're playing, but whoever won the most mini games gets a star.
And not only that, but since they won more mini games, they had more coins or whatever, and they probably got more stars in the course of the game too.
Yep, which means they probably got more stars during the game, but also there's another star you get at the end of the game for getting the most coins in mini games or having the most coins. It's something to do with coins, and usually if you win the most mini games, you have the most coins, you're going to get that star too. So winning all the mini games is really where the game is at. They really should just have you play 10 mini games and say who won. Get rid of the whole walking around the board business.
The reason they don't is that if the game, I always said that I want Mario Party to be where I could skip the stupid animation so I could get on with the game.
Yep.
But if you did that, you'd be able to play Mario Party a lot more often. You play those mini games a lot more. And I think the game would lose its charm a lot quicker. Because now the game is, it takes, you have to have a time set aside, and people are willing to spend those hours playing this game.
Yeah, well, you could just play a short game, like 15 turns in like an hour or so, but that doesn't really get the excitement because it's over as soon as you started. When you have the big, long game, that's when it can get pretty epic with lots of big, heavy-duty items like chain chomps and boos flying around and a lot of wigglers and genies and shit.
It's one of those rare games where it does something that's really annoying. You have to wait through all this stuff. It takes forever to play. And in this case, adding that forces you to not play the game often. So when you do, playing Mario Party becomes an event as opposed to just a game.
Yeah, the thing is, even if you set the time aside to play it, if you actually get down to playing it, it's sort of like setting off cheap firecrackers. Some of them might be duds and some of them might work. You got to make sure that when you play Mario Party, sometimes it just doesn't work. And you go, shit, this isn't fun anymore. Let's not play it. And sometimes you sit down and it's fun the whole time.
Yep.
Depends on the group, the time, the mood, what's going on, all kinds of stuff.
And it's also one of those games where, winning the mini games means you're more likely to win the game itself. And basically, whoever has the most skill at these mini games, as long as they make proper tactical decisions, will win.
Except there's a very slight chance of winning by luck.
Yeah, well, see, there's enough randomness in the game to where no matter how good you are, the game might just totally dick you and make, your Wendy win.
Yeah, I mean, there is a certain, ratio of luck to skill in the game, and the luck is significant enough that occasionally, I'd say about 5% of the time, luck matters and skill doesn't mean anything.
Well, actually, the closer you are in skill to your friends, the more luck matters because the closer the game is.
That is true. If everyone is really awesome at all the mini games, then it pretty much comes down to luck because otherwise you're going to win an equal number of mini games supposedly.
Yep.
Such and such, and also make the best decisions.
But like in a German board game, if I get dicked by luck, like if a game is made poorly and the game just totally screws me, there is not a single moment of enjoyment in that experience. All I do is go, fuck, the game fucked me.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe someone will say, yeah, Rim, you suck, haha, and then we just continue. In Mario Party, if you lose by complete luck, if Scott was winning the whole game and he won every mini game, but I happen to land on a thing and duel and win like one thing, and then I get the bonus star.
And he steals all my stars.
And I win by complete and utter...
Like imagine if we're playing a game, right? We played 100 mini games and I've won all of them and I have 10 stars. Rim has won nothing, right? At the last turn, he lands on a spot and he gets to fight me in one mini game. And in that one mini game, I don't know, something happens and he wins. He can steal all my stars. It's possible sometimes.
Yeah, the game totally dicks and there's stars flying around and I win and Scott loses, even though Scott was obviously better playing.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the awesome things about Mario Party because, no matter how good you are, you might get dicked.
Yeah, no one's going to come out of a game like that and say, all right, I'm better than you, ha ha ha.
Almost everyone kind of hopes that crazy stuff like that will happen. The more crazy and broken the game you played was, the more you'll remember it, the more fun you'll have.
I mean, it's...
Well, when we were playing against Ian in the World Championship bout,
Yep.
We got totally dicked. Totally dicked. We probably would have lost anyway because
Yep.
we weren't doing that well, but we were hanging on. We had a decent chance of winning. We were right there with him. And the game just raped us repeatedly into the ground.
We got star, stolen star.
And then we didn't have enough money from all that to buy the star. It was horrible.
It was terrible.
But that random dicking was so hilarious.
We would play Mario Party where there was this one map, this Bowser map, where in the middle of the map, if you got in there, it was a little tiny circle that you could just keep running around in circles in there. And the whole circle was full of bad news, real bad news. And we would just try to get in there and try to run around in circles on purpose to make all the worst shit happen.
It's a game where winning is fun and losing is probably, in many cases, more fun.
Yep. If you like WarioWare with all kinds of minigame action, the thing is the WarioWare minigames, they tend to be single player. It's like, all right, everyone play your own little minigame. We'll see who can do it and who can't.
They call them micro games.
Right, micro
Whatever.
games. Well, they are a bit more micro.
Yeah, I consider them a subset of minigames.
Yeah. But the minigames in Mario Party are less micro, and they often involve direct competition between players.
Yeah, and 3 versus 1, 2 versus 2, every man for himself, all sorts of things.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different combinations and a bunch of different skill sets. I mean, some of the minigames are complete luck. It's, pull straws, who wins. Some of them are push A really fast, see who pushes A the fastest.
Our favorite kind of game.
Yeah, the best one, Dungeon Duos is one of the best ones where, it's teamwork. You got two people. One of them has to do one thing and the other person has to do something else in concert. Or the Can, which is the game we're the best at. Where
that is a game that Scott and I are straight up over many games, totally undefeated. There's no chance anyone could ever beat us at it.
Yeah, it's like I have to stomp, and then Rim has to stomp, and then I stomp, and then he stomps in order to work this can opener in tandem. It's all sorts of fun stuff like that. And if it's just for the mini games, I would still recommend getting into Mario Party.
Yep. Or even if you end up not liking Mario Party at all. In the very least, if you like WarioWare, remember that this is kind of where that kind of game came from.
Yeah.
A little bit of history.
Yeah, and even if you don't like the annoying, incredibly long board game part, if you don't have a bunch of friends to play that with, There's 7 Mario parties out now. 3 for the N64, 4 for the GameCube, and there's going to be number 8 is going to come out for the Wii pretty soon.
What? What were you going to say?
I don't know. Oh, I think there's actually Mario Party GBA.
I think there was.
There's Mario Party Advance, so there are 8 Mario parties. There's also Mario Party e-reader.
What?
Which is terrible.
Yeah, the e-reader is in the pile with the Virtual Boy and the U-Force and the Power Glove.
Right. Wow, the e-reader.
The U-Force.
Yeah. But, it's worth it to get all those games just because they have different mini games. And they come out with a new Mario Party every year. The game came out 7 years ago. That was the first Mario Party in 2000, I think.
Wow. Again, I'm feeling old.
Yeah. So, or 99. Maybe it was 99.
1957.
Yeah.
Or 58.
But, just for the mini, because you could just play the mini games if you want. You don't have to play the board game. So, just to play all the awesome mini games is worth it. The thing is, each new Mario Party has new mini games and new maps and everything, but they also keep some of the old popular mini games over from the previous versions. Like we have 4 and 5. 5 is probably a better game, I think, but it has some mini games that were also in 4. So it's kind of like, I didn't get all new mini games. I got mostly new mini games. All right. So you're going to get some redundancy buying all the versions.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's still better off than buying Madden and then buying Madden the next year where the roster's updated and nothing else.
But unless you have friends nearby, don't buy all the Mario parties. Just get like one.
Well, I don't know. You don't have to buy them all. N64 games are emulatable.
Or just borrow them. Someone has Mario Party.
Probably. If you haven't played Mario Party at all, it's worth playing at least one time in your life, as long as you have 4 human beings to play.
My recommendation is either play it with 3 other people who also don't know how to play, or be the only one who doesn't know how to play, but don't bother learning how before you play, and don't ask anyone.
Yeah. Because that's another thing about Mario Party is that, every time you're about to play a mini game, you can practice the mini game before actually playing it for real. And when you're first starting to play, you tend to use that practice a lot. I mean, we use the practice a lot. But later on, it's just like, screw the practice. Let's try it. Woo! And it's a lot more fun that way. So I recommend not practicing minigames.
Especially if none of you have played the games before.
Yeah. It's okay to read the instructions to figure out what buttons do what, but don't actually do the practice mode. Just play the game.
So I guess before we close this off, a big welcome to all you Dig users who seem to have found us since Dig Podcasts appeared.
You and your crazy Dig Podcast, I just don't care anymore.
Oh, I don't care either. I noticed we seem to have some new listeners. Don't forget that there's 3 other nights of Geeknights.
No, there wasn't one yesterday.
Yeah, but there usually is. I mean, yesterday was Festivus. I can't really do a show on Festivus.
Actually, I think Festivus might have been the day before yesterday. I gotta go look.
Well, we didn't even really celebrate it. We haven't had the Feats of Strength or the airing of grievances.
We didn't even have the steel pole. All right, we got nothing.
We got a wooden pole. I feel kind of sacrilegious. This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com, where you'll find show notes, links, our awesome forum, a link to our Frapper map, and links to all the RSS feeds.
We say feeds plural because Geeknights airs 4 nights a week, covering 4 different brands of geekery. Mondays are science and technology. Tuesdays, we have video games, board games, and RPGs. Wednesdays are anime, manga, comic nights. And Thursdays are the catch-alls for various rants and tomfoolery.
You can send us feedback by email to geeknights@frontrowcrew.com. Or you can send audio feedback via Odeo. Just click the link that says Send Me an Odeo on the right side of our website.
If you like what you hear, you can catch the last 100 episodes in iTunes or in your favorite podcatcher. For the complete archives, visit the website, which has everything.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 2.5 license. This means you can do whatever you want with it as long as you give us credit, don't make money, and share it in kind. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.